Your host today. I'm Axel. I've been in the industry for like 3 years. I worked in the education side with Canna Reps. I'm now working on the retail, and I'm also one of the founder of Book Club. Book Club, it's a lounge in Vancouver where we gather the industry and we sesh every week. And we also gonna be doing a lot of other side projects that you will be hearing soon. And today we have a very, very exciting session organized, of course, by Casey here. Casey from Budtenders Association. Thank you so much for setting all of that. And we have joining today, we have London from Cookies and Jen from Green Monkey. I'm gonna present yourself. Jen, please start over, and then London, please present yourself.
Thanks, guys. Nice to meet everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name's Jen, but all my friends call me JR, so please call me JR. I'm a co-founder of Green Monkey. I started Green Monkey with my co-founder, Pat Gleason, back in 2020 during pandemic when we had been drinking way too much. And we were like, we'd love to drink weed instead. Edibles are legal. Pat's like, let's try this. And so we did. We just sat there and tried a bunch of drinks and kept on formulating. But we had tried this one in the UK called Green Monkey that we absolutely loved. So we brought the formula over to Canada and added a little THC in it. But unfortunately, Canada was so slow to get going. We ended up launching in California first. So you'll see last year, it was our first birthday in California in 2022. And Shay Kool-Aid and I, and Tiana Jones, who's on the call too, and you'll talk to later tonight. We were all at this party and had like an awesome time celebrating our 1-year anniversary. But I'm actually just a small town girl, grew up in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and now here I am in Haliburton, Ontario tonight. Small town to small town. But the best thing about weed is that I've met so many amazing people. And over this experience in the last 2 years, we met the Cookies team. And Cookies is and as a marketing, they have the best brand in the whole world right now. And I was so excited to get to work with them. And so London is up next, and he's going to kind of tell you about how we developed this drink together and why this is the first drink Cookies decided to kind of get into. Because I can't tell you, so many faces on this call. I saw you at Kind, and there were so many people that are like, finally, Cookies has a drink. So we hope that you really are excited and that you got the drinks and that they're in your possession. Most of you, some of you, maybe.
Oh yeah, we'd love to hear the feedback. Yes, please pop it in the chat and feel free to keep it for later. We love the feedback.
Yeah, so and we'll talk about Green Monkey some other day. But we're in the US right now. We're in Canada and the UK, and we also have a Delta 8 drink that we've launched too. So we're trying to get people high everywhere, trying to get in there. Drinks are so easy to, change people's minds. And so that's really it. I'll turn it over to London.
Hey there, what's up everybody? I'm very much an old school cannabis guy. So I was, just give you a little bit of my background and how I started in this industry and where I came from. So I'm a second generation cannabis farmer. I hail from Northern California, right in the Emerald Triangle. So where it all kind of started with cannabis, and where, it's kind of fun to see where it's all grown and expanded to, especially into, new countries like Canada and everywhere else. It's so exciting to be on this train, and, it's moving so damn fast, and just, being a part of it all. I pinch myself often, just being like, wow, yeah, this is the dream that we all had, when we were kids growing up. About, I started selling weed in 5th grade, and I never looked back. I literally never stopped selling weed since then. And so here I am now, continuing on my passion legally. and I'm very much enjoying it. So I started out in actually cultivation is where I cut my teeth and all that, and breeding and everything else. Hence London pound cake. That's something I had my hand in for sure. And so I started out with Jai and Berner, where they were the two founders of Cookies, and I was working in the greenhouses, helping manage a lot of the crews and a lot of the breeding projects. And then worked my way into production. When we started doing production here in California, I was the first production manager, helping take some of the things from the pound bag into the jar and getting it to the market and all that. Worked my way through sales. So beginning of the year here, I was the national director of sales for Cookies. And I had such a passion for product development, and I worked so closely with Berner every day, just hands-on. And so now my new official title is Director of Product Development and Innovation. So it's really fun to see it all come full circle, and be here talking to you guys about this. So I've spoken to Canada once before, so some of you might remember me from other sessions, but really happy to be back and talking to you all now about beverages. This was a fun one for me. So my family also deals in wine and stuff like that here in California. So I definitely have a strong beverage background. So being able to blend both those two worlds together with this was a really fun project for me to take on. And it's been multiple years now that Berner's had this vision of California iced tea and what that really means. It's a name that he's had for a long time. Even all of us growing up as stoners, when you get that cotton mouth after you're done smoking, here in the States, we have a very prominent brand of beverage that we would always go towards. It was our number one, beverage that anyone would grab. Like when you're stoned, you got to quench, you got that cotton mouth, you got to quench yourself. It's Arizona iced tea all day long. Arizona iced tea is the number one, beverage consumption by stoners by far. And
True.
so Bert had this idea, well, heck Arizona iced tea, let's go with California iced tea. And so, and put something fun in there to actually get people high and keep them high. So, so it was really fun to sit there. And, then when Green Monkey came about, we got to work with them on the flavor development and, going down the path of like, okay, well, how do we bring this to life? California iced tea, we have the branding, now we have the people being Green Monkey to help us get there. And then, here we are now with three wonderful flavors. We got the Georgia pie, the sweet tea, and the lemonade. So developing these flavors was just such a blast. JR had a heavy hand in it also. So we went down and worked with these flavor houses on, I'm a total flavor snob. So I write all the tasting notes for Cookies. I do a lot of stuff, that includes flavor and just the product development and just how things taste and affect you. So we did a lot of time researching just not only the ingredients that are going into this, we have all natural flavors, all natural ingredients. We're using real cane sugar, nothing synthetic, and so we're really trying to make sure that we can bring a nice, clean experience to everyone. And we purposefully, I know in Canada there's a limit of 10 milligrams per container, which for better or worse is what it is. But we very purposefully have that exact same SKU here in California. Like JR was speaking about, as an alcohol alternative, we really wanted to have a product that could serve the non-drinking community and not have it be weird when if you're a non-drinker and you're a smoker and you want to go to a party or something, you don't want to light up a blunt, and alienate everyone or have to be shafted outside to go stand in the rain and smoke by yourself. It's you can grab a beverage like this and actually have it work in that same way. It's a very social, drinkable beverage. So, and it's we very much intended for this to be fast acting. So our onset time on these beverages should be less than 10 minutes, probably even some closer even to 5 minutes, depending on your metabolism and what you ate and a bunch of other variables there. But I safely say within 10 minutes, you're going to get the full experience of what the beverage has to offer, which is really nice because then you don't have a waiting game. You can sit there and know exactly what you're getting and continue to drink. It's kind of like having a beer. When you're sitting there and you drink a beer over 10 minutes, kind of know exactly what you're getting into. And if you want another one or not, or you can space those out over a period of time of a party and really control your own experience. So yeah, it was really nice kind of making this a fast acting, social beverage as an alcohol alternative. So it's Georgia pie was probably one of my personal favorite ones that we made, when we were sitting down to come up with these flavors. We're like, okay, we want peach iced tea. It's like, okay, well, here's 20 different kinds of peaches. What kind of peach do you want? And so really honing in on those exact nuances of these flavorings was really important to me. So I really hope that all of you get to experience those flavors and get to experience those nuances that we put a lot of love and time and attention into to bring them to you. So it's, we had a lot of fun marketing and branding on the California side. Obviously, Canada likes to limit that. So, but we still think we did a really good job of bringing a lot of this to you in that way. With some of the colors, the color palettes that we chose to put on the cans. Obviously, Cookies Blue just dominates everywhere we go. So leading with that, was really fun. But yeah, so we had a really good time there, and I'm just really excited to be here with you guys and talk about this. And we had this cool little video to showcase, some of the production and how it works and some of the behind the scenes of making this beverage and how we do it. And the other main thing that Berner wanted when I was giving it to Berner, like, hey, Berner, here's where we landed on this drink. He just looked at me and he goes, London, is this a chuggable stoner beverage? And I was like, yes, this is very much a chuggable beverage. And that was one of the main stipulations that we had with formulation, was the chuggability. You know what I mean? Like, can you sit there and chug this whole can, or are you going to take sip by sip by sip? So hopefully you guys have the same experience where you can grab a can and just slam the whole thing and have it be a very thirst quenching, cotton mouth quenching, just lovable experience. So especially during summertime here, it's the perfect time to experience these and bring them to market with you guys. So just like I keep saying, I'm just really excited to have these out there and have some of my love and passion be extended out to you all, in the form of this beverage.
Let's show them that video.
Let's do it. Let's
see.
You don't have any sound.
Oh, yep. I guess it's going to be without sound.
Yeah. Canning's not an easy process. For you guys that don't know, large scale canning is a very difficult game, especially when you're looking at smaller batches, which a lot of these are. Canning lines are just generally designed for, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of cans at a time. So, being able to perfect the canning methods and capabilities, Green Monkey really did a good job of making sure that we have the best partners to bring this to market with, because it really is not an easy thing to do economically.
Yes, because it gets very expensive, this machine.
It gets very expensive very quickly. Exactly. One little mess up turns into a big mess up quite a bit. Yeah, Georgia pie was really fun. I selected a very special kind of peach with the lemonade. We really wanted to lean into farm. I grew up on a farm my whole life. I have a million different kinds of lemon trees on my ranch. So I'm looking at what specifically kind of lemon did I want. So I really based this off of Meyer lemon and making it a farm fresh lemonade stand style of lemonade. So it's. The thing that really bugged me too is when I went around to all the beverage conventions before I started making this drink and started looking at what is everyone else doing in the market. Everyone has a lemonade and they always do it to mask the bitterness and the flavor of a lot of the inputs in there. So, and they just put so much citric acid and acid into it that it just starts to taste like caustic in your mouth and doesn't actually taste good. So the lemonade, I think, is one of the most balanced ones that we have out of the whole portfolio. If I had a favorite, I'd probably lean into that one a little bit.
I saw the homie last night, Berner. He was dope.
Yeah, right on. Right on. Yeah, that lemonade's phenomenal.
You got the lemonade.
Yeah,
so good.
That's definitely a good one for sure.
The ladies are kind at the booth. We're given these ones and the cookies.
Nice.
We want to hear the feedback.
Yeah.
And I have some question in the chat regarding the input. Actually, we were speaking about. Some people are asking: is it distillate blend? Is it strain specific extract? If yes, what kind of extraction is it? All about
so
the input.
It definitely is. It's a distillate blend that goes in there, and so do that for a couple of reasons. It's the most pure, it's the most pure to form. To do strain specific, you're going to start imparting different flavors. If you really try to talk about like a strain specific distillate, you're isolating the THC molecule is what you really want as an active in there. And we're letting it shine with an emulsification process that we're putting into it, which reduces the bitterness a little bit and allows it to hit faster. So your body can actually absorb all those molecules. We really want to lean into the bioavailability of this, right? So the bioavailability of this drink is probably 2 to 3x what you would see otherwise without those two processes. So that's where we get, instead of having to process through your gut, all the way through your liver and all that stuff, you're absorbing it all through the lining of your mouth, through the lining of your esophagus. And that's how we can get that fast onset time. And it's a lot harder to do that with different inputs. So yeah, it definitely is. It is a distillate base. But that's not a bad word. You know, there are different variations of distillate. There are different qualities. And so we do seek the highest quality extracts that we can to utilize for these beverages for sure.
Yeah, brother. So I would tell you my reference because I'm sipping on it, right? Like the 3 sips, like, you know, because I'm more of an indica heavy, like bong guy, you know,
Yep.
terpene and stuff. So even though it's a ratio like 10 and 10, right? I still feel like I get like a little lemon, but like a little raspberry taste. But
Yeah.
like the third sip, like, didn't get me to the head, but it got into the body. So it's like a kind of slowly feeling.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the point, right? It's as you consume, you feel, you know what I mean? So you can control your experience. It's not that you don't have the guessing game of like, well, crap, do I slam the whole thing or how am I going to feel? What is it? You know, how is this going to feel? The nice thing about that too, I mean, not to get super techie and dorky on y'all, but you're going to feel more of less of the hydroxide high that you're getting from true, from true edibles. And it's going to be more of a true to plant experience, more of that true real high that you get from smoking instead of ingesting. So it's a different experience, right? Because your liver's not actually converting everything to hydroxide at that point. So because it's being absorbed other ways through the body. But with it being so bioavailable, you still do get the hit that you're used to out of hydroxide high.
And brother, not right now, but at the end, I would like to connect with you, you know, like talk to you, ask some questions.
For sure, I'm happy to.
That's amazing. And so you have your own nano emulsion. How do you do your emulsion? Is it your own patent technology? How does this work?
The emulsion tech?
Yes.
Gotcha. So we have different partners in different areas that use different types of emulsion. It's not a proprietary method. It's usually proprietary to the person, but essentially what you're doing, you know, you hear the word nano a lot. So it's nano emulsification. What we're doing is binding it to a water molecule to let it to have it blend in with everything better. So as you can see too, it's like prevents a lot of the cloudiness and a lot of the separation that you see in a lot of other drinks where you got to shake it up to crap just to get it to work right. And it's eliminating a lot of the flavor, right? So it's the main purpose of doing that is flavor and bioavailability. That's the two main reasons that we're doing. We're emulsifying these inputs for sure. And we have partners in Canada that do that process for us. So it's not a proprietary method of cookies.
Nice, awesome. I have some person in the chat asking about emulsion goo. I never heard about that. I'm not sure if you heard about that.
Say it one more time.
Emulsion goo, GOO. I'm not too sure if it's someone is asking about that, but I think it's probably a new technology that people have developed and is wondering if it's safe, basically in terms of the health. But
I couldn't speak to it, to be honest. There's, everything started out as nano, right? When people were starting to do these techs, it was all nano, and now it's kind of turned into kind of like distillate, where there's varying degrees of distillate, there's varying degrees of nano. There's good and there's bad, and they've almost turned into bad words, So that's why you hear a lot of people saying emulsification. It sounds a lot fancier and a lot better than the nano process, So I couldn't. It sounds like that someone's just trying to brand their proprietary method of emulsification into the word goo. When you do take distillate and you emulsify, it does turn into kind of a goo. So it sounds like just a branding play to me personally. Yeah, I can only speak to that. I don't know anything about it.
And then maybe to explain a bit more about that nano emulsion, can you say if you have any information because I know some people are worried in terms of the health because they're like, it's such a small and so bioavailable that it goes everywhere in your body. What's the impact on that and stuff like that,
There is a lot of science out there around nanotech, and there's some people do nano too far. So I believe it's called the nanometers. So it's how small you can get that molecule. And there are a lot of companies that do take it down way too small. It's like there is a point where you are 100% saturated. You don't need to go any smaller. So we're very careful just to make sure we don't over emulsify our products, and it's just the perfect amount. And that is part of the process of just finding the best partner that we can to be able to run those processes for us. It's one of the reasons we don't do in-house. That's not what we're experts at. So we find the best of class within the field and utilize them as a partner to execute that for us.
That's amazing. And it's a great transition into speaking about that partnership you guys did with Green Monkey.
Yeah, totally. I mean, JR can also speak to it, but it was I was very happy to do that with her because now we get to work on all kinds of foaming products. So the California iced tea is one of many to come to you. So we have a lot of stuff in the wings and the works that we're very excited to. We've had multiple tasting sessions. That's all I gotta say. So we got a lot of stuff coming up that we can give you in multiple different ways.
This guy has, like, I thought I had a really crazy palate. This guy has a incredible palate. He doesn't let anything go out the door that isn't absolutely perfect. So working with London and Tiana has been at the tasting sessions too. It's awesome. Like at Green Monkey, we think like our drinks taste really good, but we are like learning from London, which is really nice.
Well, it's fun too. Like you even talk about like the tea base, for example, like that's one we spent quite a bit of time on, and I wasn't willing to compromise on quality of input or price be one of the main determinants of the input. So it's, when we're just like, okay, we're going to do iced teas. Like what kind of tea base do you want? Like how many particles do you want in that, of the actual like tea itself, like what's, how long is it going to be brewed for? Like there's so many different factors that go into that. And we dove into each facet of those drinks independently to make sure that it came together in the best way possible.
I mean, London, I think you picked up like what, 10 different iced teas that you loved.
Oh my God. I went to every store I know sweet tea is a very American thing, right? So sweet tea, it's especially in the South, it's like probably one of the most commonly, drink beverages in America, and there's a lot of different types of sweet teas out there. It's what kind of sugar, the variety of sweetness and all this and that. So believe me, I went to every single store I could, bought every single sweet tea I could possibly get my hands on, and really found a couple that I could mimic and tie into. And that's where Arizona came in, right? Because Arizona is the nation favorite down here in the States, and so we really tied into that. Said, okay, well, if they've done the good work to figure this out, and we know that this is the palette, a profile that everyone wants. How do we get as close to this as possible with our own twist and making sure that it's still cookies? I'm not just trying to knock someone else's playbook, but I'm also not trying to reinvent the wheel.
And the lemonade, Dustin, you're sipping on the lemonade right now. Like, does that not remind you of something you drank?
Yeah, now that he says this, like after, the tea-ish.
Totally. And it's not just like super acid to cover up the bitter, you know what I mean? So most beverages out there have an incredibly bitter aftertaste. And so it's not. Are
you tasting something it's not really effective, right?
Exactly.
Just when you feel like it's like, just like, I don't know if you heard of it down here, we have like a hash, another homie, he makes like a hash infused drink, which is just pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's hard to cover the flavor of hash, though. Hash is definitely, believe me, I'm a hash head myself. I'm very much a rosin connoisseur of every shape and form. I love solventless hash more than anything, and I look forward to working on some of that in the future to see if we can actually bring something like that to light. My biggest
apples and banana was fire.
Was that? I'm sorry.
Apples and banana.
Yeah, totally. My biggest problem with most of the hash products out there, and I deal with it on edibles too, because I do all the gummy production, everything else, and I do a lot of rosin gummies. But you go, especially in beverages, a lot of people try to mask different flavors by just covering them up with high doses of flavoring. And all that is just, it's like dipping your poop in perfume. It still just smells like poop covered in perfume. You know what I mean?
It smells worse.
Exactly. Just made it worse. So it's like, how do we actually take flavors and make them work well together? You know what I mean? And not trying to mask flavors, but try to blend flavors. So that's one of the main theories that I hold.
And also one that people like, right? That we can all
Exactly.
I was about to say, it's something that I think it's a big door we should open. It's having an edibles and drinks that actually don't try to hide the cannabis flavor, but to work with it. It's like, for example, matcha. People love matcha, but it's very bitter. It has a very, but when you learn the good combination with a white chocolate or something like this, people loves it. And I'm sure that we can find like combination with specific like cultivar that you blend into a beautiful like
even
drinks.
With terpenes, it's a better explanation. Some people don't like terpenes with certain weeds, but if it's in a different strain, maybe they like it. But they don't know, and it's better.
Yep. And that's, rosin and hash stuff, that's where you can get a lot more strain specific and a lot more nuanced on the inputs. And even on that, it takes a lot more of a supply chain to be able to bring products like that to life, because you have to have certain input materials specifically frozen and extracted just for that. And there's different ways of extracting hash that you would utilize for different inputs for different product. So I
was going to ask you, brother, do you think in the future, because I've seen down there, they released their little candy gummies with C's on it.
Yep.
Canada soon get their hands on them.
Oh yeah, no, we're definitely very much. So we have a new partner in Canada called Final Bell. So I know some of the products we've had in the past have been a little subpar. We definitely heard a lot of that feedback and we pivoted because of that. And, we have a new partner to help us bring a lot of the products. It's the same. So Final Bell is our same manufacturing partner that I work with here in California. So a lot of the products you're seeing in California, we have a lot closer. We have a shorter path now to bring them to life in Canada up north. So we're definitely looking forward to bringing you a lot of those products.
Even that 2090 rain, I'm still waiting for that to drop here.
Yeah,
I have my medical
across the border is a funny game. I that's one I won't talk about on this meeting in a public forum. But getting genetics to Canada is a very interesting thing.
Oh yes, yeah. Let's because this is recorded. Remember, so.
We'll connect after this.
But we're definitely working on bringing you guys the full suite that we have down here. Just know that there are many hurdles that are unseen by most to make that happen. But yes, we are working very diligently and hard in the background to bring you as much as we can.
If you guys can bring back the thin mint, you will just kill it.
We're working on that. We're working on it. I got it in tissue culture right now, so I'm working on cleaning it and getting it to a space for full production.
Wow, yeah, that's because that made cookies legendary. That cultivar itself, it's crazy.
And congrats on the new cookie store that just opened today down there.
Yeah.
We also wanted to introduce our director of brand development out of California, who actually launched the drink with the cookies team, Tiana Jones. I know she loves this photo too. I'll quickly move ahead. But Tiana, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little about you and how the magic you do in California with the drinks.
Yeah, thanks. Hey everyone, I'm Tiana Jones. I'm the Director of Brand Development here at Green Monkey. I joined the team about 2.5 years ago. And my background is I started in cannabis as a brand ambassador in 2015 in the California medical market. And most of my career has been focused in retail and experiential event marketing. So mostly working with consumers and budtenders. So I'm really grateful to be here with you guys today because I think that the budtenders are one of the most important parts of this industry because you guys are the ones who are interacting with the consumers every day, and the consumers are the ones who really trust you and trust your guidance. Because a lot of people, especially in 2018 when California went recreational, a lot of people were walking into dispensaries for the first times and had no idea what they were looking for or what was going on. And you guys were the people there taking care of them. So just want to say I'm really grateful for the work that you do and to recognize that hard work. But yeah, I was really excited working with Green Monkey. It was my first time working with a beverage company. And 2 years ago, beverage was new in California. And I think the retail market was still kind of leery about it. I don't think they kind of understood, especially low dose beverages. So in California, our Green Monkey drinks are 3 milligrams of THC and 6 milligrams of CBD. And I think people were used to seeing things more like 100 milligrams. And I think also people kind of do that THC milligram to dollar comparison. So they didn't really understand why would I pay $5 or $6 for 3 to 10 milligram drink when I can, buy 100 milligram edible for $15, $16. And I kind of had that same feeling when I first got into beverage. But once I started, actually tasting the drinks, that kind of opened my eyes because they taste incredible. And I'm sure some of you have gotten some of our samples of the lemonade and the iced tea can attest to that. But I saw that it was more of a sessionable product. And I realized it was also great for new consumers who were still a little hesitant about consuming cannabis and kind of the stigma that went with it. I think beverage is a great way to kind of make cannabis more inclusive because everybody has had a drink of anything, whether it's a juice or an alcohol beverage. So that really opened my eyes. And so when I joined the Green Monkey team, it kind of became my mission to kind of teach people about cannabis beverage. And I personally have a high tolerance. So like I said, I was hesitant about 3 milligrams, even 10 milligrams with no CBD. But I like that it's something that I can drink when I'm smoking and hanging out with my friends, and I know where I'm going to be, and it's not going to like kind of put me over that edge. Or, you know, as an alcohol replacement, I know I can drink, you know, 2 or 3 and know I'm going to feel the onset within that, you know, 15 to 20 minutes. I know it's going to come down. I'm not going to have that kind of like weed hangover. And then when I found out the partnership with Cookies, I was very excited because I think obviously their reputation goes beyond, you know, California, but in the cannabis community, they're really thought well of. And I really enjoyed working with London, got to go down and to do some of the tastings. And, you know, like he said, you don't realize how many different types of peaches or even tea flavors. If you add a little bit of like acid to this or add a little bit of sugar, it like changes the way like your palate, you know, tastes the drink and everything like that.
I was gonna ask, what is your experience? Like, how are you feeling? If you can give us your background on it now.
On the drinks now? I love them now. Like I said, I still like, for me, like flower is like always gonna be king. But I think that beverage is, it's nice because I can just like crack open a drink at the end of the day and just like sip on it when I'm, you know, hanging out, watching TV. Like I said, when I'm hanging out, smoking with my friends. It's also been a great way for me to introduce cannabis to some of my friends who normally wouldn't be into it, because previous jobs I had have been more in like vape and flower. And for some of my friends, it was a little intimidating, a little bit much. And as we've gotten older, I've got a lot of friends now who have children, and the beverages have been like a really great way for them to kind of just be a little bit more discreet and kind of have that little.
Because like most people, or some people that's not really interested or beginning to smoke, you know, it's like most people do drink, you know, so it's like,
yes,
it's okay, you know, to sit down with a friend and just, even if they try a sip of it, you know, it's not going to hurt them or affect them, but at least you can experience it, and it's a good energy, good vibe, you know, you're able to walk down the road and drink it, which is nice. You don't have to hide, you know, you can be anywhere and just talk.
Yeah, because it looks like nice. A White Claw or any type of
I
seltzer.
remember hesitating because like I went on like a house tour, like an official house tour of my new home, and I had it in my hand, and I felt the pressure to like put my hand over the THC logo and like make it a secret, but like it's all good. Like it's such a low dosage to begin with, so.
And it's socially more accepted, you know, you're just holding a drink instead of puffing and, you know, smoking.
Exactly.
It's way more accepted.
And it's not as intimidating, right? Like I think people who are kind of curious walk into a dispensary and they're looking at flower and they're looking at papers and pipes and bongs and like, oh, how do I do this?
Something that you're already familiar with.
Right. Yeah. It's like everybody knows how to open a can. I mean, I will say sometimes these lids can be a little confusing for people. So that's definitely a new experience. But, you know, everyone knows how to drink a drink. So it's great for like anybody who's kind of coming in who has either like low tolerance or is kind of new consumer. These beverages are great. They're only 10 milligrams, or no, sorry, they're 10 milligrams of THC and only 100 calories, 23 grams of sugar. So it's really guilt-free to drink a couple. I've found that, you know, when we went out and we're doing pop-ups in stores, again, people are still kind of hesitant about drinks, but we had our non-infused samples. And once people tried it, they were
That's
down.
Where it's at.
They just put like, and it was no longer like they weren't questioning the price, you know, because like when you want something and it has a functionality, which is I want to be able to drink this for this type of occasion or this type of thing, then it's more about, okay, yeah, now I know I like it. Like that buyer remorse or hesitation kind of goes down.
It dissipates.
So I think, yeah, and you get return customers. And so once they actually see that feeling and they get experience the onset, I think it's a really great thing. And personally, I also love to do like a little Arnold Palmer, half and half with the lemonade and Georgia pie is very delicious. But, you know, I'm very proud of the drinks that we made. And I'm very excited to see that, you know, it's coming to Canada and for you guys to experience it.
It's just a Toronto area for the cookies drinks, right?
Jen?
Toronto GTA. I'm not sure if they've hit Ottawa yet. I haven't seen them on my SKU yet, so I have to look at my order for next week.
OC, they're on OCS. But you know what? They screwed up and put the brand name as Green Monkey, and so
we love that.
People couldn't find the cookies drinks, but now they're as cookies. You can find both of them on the lists. I think that.
And to my understanding, the people over at I think it's What is their brand name underneath cookies? Nova?
Noya?
Noya essentially hooked, like you guys hooked Noya up with your facility, yes?
No.
So we no longer work with Noya.
Noya and we don't have any relationship with Noya.
I see.
Cookies
No,
doesn't work
we're
with
making
Noya
a drinks
anymore.
out of Peak Processing in Windsor.
We love.
Yep.
Also, thank you to the whole Green Monkey team for sending me out to Kind Fair. I just have to like preface that. I was the one who won the contest, so thank you so much.
You?
Dude, it was
That's
amazing.
awesome.
I'm still giving out samples
fabulous
to my customers and employees to this day. So thank you.
Oh, fun.
It was magical.
I can't believe that Kind Fair, Jonathan, was just like probably
It was so many people.
busy.
So many
I'm so sorry to
connections
any of
from
you who
global-
attended who I didn't get to say hello to. It was very busy. Like as an autistic person, I was frazzled. That was a lot.
I think I saw you.
A
I
lot.
just didn't know your name, So I'm sorry if I didn't say hi. I was there both days. I was there in like the Sesh Park in the end zone.
I was there with Ganja Queen and a couple other friends, and like it was my first time away from Ottawa by myself in Toronto. So like the first day kind of hit me like a train, and then the second day I went with my headphones in, the volume turned down. I was like, okay, we got this, and I got
Did you get to
to.
experience the hash tent?
The hash tent was magical. I walked out with too much live resin to count.
I think
That
that's
was
where I saw you in there.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's where
Yes, I think we were probably. Yes, I think me and you were smoking in the weed tent that day.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That looks like an amazing event.
Oh,
And then-
I feel like weed events are always good to connect with people, and it's a good environment that you can
It
smoke
is.
and learn, meet people. And
I think we got the Georgia peach, the Georgia pie at Kind, if I recall right, though.
You are correct. It's Georgia Peach.
Yes.
They wouldn't let us go away with
Georgia
Pie,
peach.
which is
Those guys were absolutely delicious.
We definitely try to use a lot of our genetics as inspiration for flavoring. It's a lot of where the fun comes from. So, we do have a really amazing genetic called Georgia Pie. We're not allowed to call it Georgia Pie in Canada, so we call it Georgia Peach. And so we definitely use that as inspiration for the flavor. Same thing with sweet tea. Sweet tea is a genetic that we ran for a long time in the States that did really well for us. So that was a really easy plug and play to make a flavor out of. And then original lemonade. I mean, heck, we literally built an entire brand around lemonade. So we had to do it justice with bringing a lemonade to life also. And one little bit of tidbit I wanted to give you all as budtenders as like a really nice main selling point here is, even to high level consumers, like I sit anywhere between 50 to 100 milligrams for myself, personally, to feel an effect. But it's really nice to have something to maintain your high, So even for people like, 10 milligrams doesn't do anything for me. I have to drink a million of those. It's like, yeah, but like I've seen a lot of the comments coming in when you want to be a discreet smoker, and you're going into a party or an event and you just finished smoking your blunt or your joint or your vape or whatever, then you can still crack this open to maintain your high. Now you don't have to go sneak back to your car and go smell like weed again, or, try to run to the bathroom to hit your vape or something like that. You can grab a can like this and really maintain your high a lot longer, especially with that quick onset and with a lot of the tech that's inside of it. So it's just a really nice way to get these in the hands of people that even might consider themselves high dose consumers. It's a nice way for them to maintain their high in a more discreet way.
As somebody who dabs a lot, I love to make that like my kind of slide in is, well, if you're a big like THC smoker, try having a drink after you've had, your blunt or your joint for the night and kind of make that your nightcap. If you've already brushed your teeth or like you're about to brush your teeth, maybe have a drink first, settle in for the half hour, brush your teeth, go to bed, especially people like me who vape a lot and dab a lot. It can be really high. It can be really hard for people to recommend drinks based off of high alone, whereas now we have strain specific drinks, hash drinks, all kinds of different infusions other than distillate. So it's a really great just kind of slide in for, well, it won't get you stoned, but if you already have stuff at home to get you stoned, or if you're already buying something today, it's going to get you rocked on your ass. How is something just as like a nightcap or a top off for that? How do you want to complement that high?
Maximize your high. No, it's a way to maximize your high. It's
Keep it high.
It's a way to get the most out of it, not the least out of it. So Yeah, I see someone just wrote a comment, I can't get high off drinks. I would recommend you try this one. That probably means that you have a high tolerance to 11-hydroxide, right? I don't know if you guys, how deep we are in cannabis science, but you might have a high tolerance to 11-hydroxide. I recommend that you do try some of these drinks that are water emulsified so that you can actually see if this affects you in a different way, because your body is processing it in a different manner.
Yeah, it becomes bioavailable faster. Sometimes you don't even need the liver to process it. It's already getting you high.
That's exactly right. It's going, on your mouth, even like sublingual. That's why you always hear sublingual is the fastest way to get it in your mouth, right? Obviously, you're not going to sit there and holding your drink. As you're drinking, it is getting absorbed into your mouth and getting absorbed through your esophagus and through your stomach lining. So it's not making it to your liver at all.
I think I just wanted everyone to know the MSRP is $8.99 on these drinks, which is a little higher price point because of the premium quality of the drink. So and of course they're gluten-free and vegan, like all Green Monkey drinks, because that's really important to us. But it is really high quality, so you can feel really good about recommending these because London is uncompromising in his quality, just as much as I. So I love it. And then I think I'll just check if there's one more slide. But I don't think there's anything to it. Yeah.
Also, before we go into the question, I forgot to say, but at the beginning, but we have a giveaway. We have a quiz for the end of the session, and we have a little giveaway. We're gonna have 2 lucky people. One's gonna win a cookie swag with the hat, the hoodie, and some stickers, and the other one's gonna win tickets for the launch party that's gonna happen in September, I believe, and also the ride there and out, so you can go and consume safely. We're gonna go into the question and the feedback, because I know a lot of people, I saw so many people with the cans in their hands, so I would love to hear the feedback. And then we have the chance to have like the 2 product development with us, so please, if anyone has any question, that's the moment to pick their brain. Feel free to either pop it in the chat or just open your mic. And
I was gonna ask you, other than this lemonade, when I'm trying, is there a difference than the other one? Because I haven't tried it yet. Other than the flavor, really?
Is there a difference? No, it's the flavors. The flavor is going to be the main difference between them all. The effect should be the same.
The lemonade's going to be a little more tart than the Georgia, right? The Georgia almost has a little bit of added sweetness to it.
Yep. Well, they all have the same amount of sugar, so it's all comes down to the different inputs of the natural flavors that we use.
Hi there.
The different kinds of peach, or the different kinds of that one we have actual the lemon and the citric acid and all that kind of stuff that goes into that. And with the Georgia pie, for example, we have the peach flavoring and the iced tea, so they're just a little bit different on the pH scale, which do render them to have a slightly different flavor, but the effect should be very similar.
In terms of the emulsification and the consumption with the fat source, typically, I tell people to have something fatty with their edible. Does that still count with the emulsification?
That's a very good question. I have noticed anecdotally here. So I have noticed anecdotally that I have with emulsified products, I have not needed that to be fat bound to feel an effect, because your body is processing it very differently. Your body has a hard time processing raw cannabinoids as they sit. So when you bind them to a fat, it allows your body to be able to push them through the liver and actually get them processed. And with the emulsification, it's more bioavailable, which means your body can absorb it faster in different ways. That's why you've heard us talking about the mouth lining, the esophagus, all that kind of stuff. So your body absorbed it a little bit differently. So I would say no, you do not need to have something fatty with it to increase its effects.
I agree with you. Very anecdotal too, but I one day did a couple of drinks, empty stomach in the morning, and 5 minutes after I was all bumping. There was some CBG into it, and I was all going crazy. So yeah, definitely the same on me, but it's anecdotal, so there's no science.
Exactly.
Anyone else maybe want to share a question, or maybe someone wants to do a live tasting and describe a bit how they loved it? Someone in the chat say, I just wanted to say they're both very refreshing. I like that they're not overly sweet, and you can enjoy a couple of them, like that chugging thing, like you say.
Chuggability.
Yes, exactly.
That was the main factor that we think, is this chuggable? We'd all sit there in the room and be like, could you chug this? Not just sip it, can you chug it? So because at the end of the day, this is also a thirst quencher. The thirst quencher and a cottonmouth killer. Those are the other 2 main things that these are doing, so definitely take that into effect too.
Anything else? Anyone else? What are you smoking, Jason? That I'm just curious right now. I see that long pipe going out. What is that?
Oh, my
Is it
wizard!
the
This is
Puffco?
my little afternoon smoke session. Sorry,
Is
this is
it the
how I dab.
Puffco?
It's my little afternoon. You guys aren't into electric dab rigs yet? Oh man,
Yes.
we gotta get you guys on this.
Nice. That's the proxy, but it's a long proxy, no? It's
Yeah,
a special edition.
it's called the Wizard. I'm not shouldn't be promoting other people's products, but yeah, it's called the Wizard.
I see.
love it. Puffco are very good friends of mine, so it's I'm very very hot with all their products.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
One more
Oh,
question, brother, you have to say? Is there any new indica strains coming? Or no?
Is there new? Oh, we have a whole world of genetics coming to
I
you.
know you guys got lots of genetics. I just gotta say.
We got a lot of stuff coming for you guys. Yeah, definitely, whole slew. Personally, I like to classify everything as indica hybrid, sativa hybrid. I think it's hard to classify things as pure sativas or pure indicas. Even more so, if I'm really doing true budtender training, I would talk about more psychotropic effects being stimulating or sedative, because everyone has different systems and everyone has a different way of processing these things. And it's a starting point, not an ending point of it classified as indica or sativa. It's very hard to get words on either side.
The cheetah piss got me when I hit in the bong, but when I hit the apples and banana, it was more sweeter and took a minute to hit the bong.
Yep, definitely. And there's a lot of there's a lot of genetics out there that can floor people, but I smoke and I'm like, man, this is like a cup of coffee for me, but I'm with all my friends and they're passed out on the couch. So it's, there's definitely different strokes for different folks. So I like to, it's an interesting concept, right? In California, especially being as advanced of a market as we are, we're starting to veer away more from the overarching umbrellas of indica, sativa, hybrid. You know what I mean? So it's still, but we understand very much so that the consumer still needs to know what effects they're going to be getting into. So it's our job as bud tenders to really start to guide them down that path and really show them the difference. So I know it's a hard road, but I'm very curious to see in 10 years from now if we're still using that same language.
Yeah, me too. It's definitely something I spend hours thinking of and trying to redefine or trying to,
Sometimes the price at your guys' end and our end is just, I get shocked.
I'll give you guys a little tidbit here to work with, something that I do a lot. I've gone through all the Ganja air training, all the Trichome Institutes, all the whatever any schools out there I've been to in the past. And so but the ones that I found, again, anecdotally speaking, that have worked for me the best to help people understand what psychotropic effects they're going to feel from something is using your olfactory system. Your olfactory system is your mouth and your nose, right? This whole general area right here. And really leaning into, when you're smelling something, before you even consume, you're looking at the genetics. Like, what do I know about those genetics? And how do I know that they're going to affect me just based off my experiences of those genetics in the past? What's the inflorescence of the plant look like? Like, how is the bud structured? Is it a looser structure? It's probably going to be more of a head hive. Is that more of that condensed tight structure? It might tell you something about that plant that you're about to consume. And then going into the smell. The smell is probably the most important out of all of it, because we all have different olfactory systems that are connected to our bodies that tell us something individual about ourselves. And so understanding, like, when you're smelling something, are you experiencing all the way back in your nasal passages, like where it kind of like, when you smell something, you're like, whoa, like that kind of, whoa, like that lifted me up a little bit. Like, those are going to be more of those sativas or stimulating style of cultivars. They're going to get you more of that really strong head high and more of that uplifting. It's a lot like aromatherapy. It's the same way aromatherapy works. When you smell something, you're like, whoosh, that kind of brought me up a little bit, like that piney, that limonene, all that kind of stuff picks you up. And then when you start to smell things on the opposite, where it's really low on the nostrils and doesn't really penetrate back deep into your head, it's really low on the nostrils and sits really low. Those are going to be more of your like really heavy body highs and more of that really heavy feeling going into your body, more of your mycerium, more of your linalool, more of all that kind of stuff. So it's a really basic way
like giving you the real opinion though. But it's like the soap, I didn't really like.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest.
But so it's just a fun way to start to take people through that path, and when you're working with a customer and they're smelling something, that's why it's the famous saying, the nose always knows. So you can smell stuff and see how are they being affected by that, by that. Like, if they smell something, it puts a big smile on their face, like that's probably what you're looking for, So it's that's what I found too, that even my friends, like that example I said, like Snowman's the perfect example of genetic we have down here. There's a very stimulating cultivar for me, but for most other people, it's very sedative. And I've done this anecdotal test. I'm like, hey, where are you feeling when you smell this? Where are you feeling it on your nose? I feel it way deep back in my brain, and my friend will feel it really low in their olfactory system, really low on the nose. And that alone will, to me, provides a basic way to understand how it's going to affect each one of us differently.
Yeah,
More than you asked for, sorry, but you got it.
I totally agree. And like I say to every session for the people who are here, there is that study called the nose, and it explains everything. It's just trust your receptors. Nothing is better than your own body receptors, and your body will tell you if you are attracted and you want to smoke that or consume that.
Exactly.
It's your body knows. All right, I'm gonna leave the room for one last question, and then I'm gonna start the pool, the quiz for everyone. Anyone wants to share something before we start the pool? Oh, I have someone in the chat that asked, with the emulsion technology, do the cookie beverage actually lean one way or the other? But I believe you said same effect. She's asking if there's going to be a difference on effect regarding the different beverage, but you said it's pretty much same effects.
It's going to be very similar effects, yes, going across the board. If I had to classify them, I'd probably put them a little bit more into the... if I had to classify them, I'd probably put them into the indica hybrid spectrum. So just understanding that you are going to get high, you know what I mean? And it is going to be, you're going to get a sensation. It's not, but again, that, those edible highs are a little bit different, and the variation of how people experience ingesting cannabis, I found to be way greater of a difference than people smoking. So it's really important for everyone to, that's why we always start small and work up from there. Start with a couple sips. That's the best thing about it being fast acting, right? You know what you're going to be getting into. You know exactly what you're getting into within 10 to 15 minutes. You're not waiting an hour to figure it out. So you can really take that sip and, choose your own adventure.
For the Budtender out there, it's a great option for beginners too, because they can, pour it in a glass, do half, do the half, and wait a bit, and 10 minutes, 15 minutes after, you're gonna get like the full effect, so you know where to go if you want to stop or keep going. So it's definitely a great option. All right, I think it's time for the quiz. I'm gonna be starting the pool. So it's 5 questions, and I'm gonna start it right now. Let me know if it doesn't appear.
All set on mobile.
Oh, is it appearing?
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Mobile users, for any other mobile users, I'm good. It just popped up for me.
Awesome. I see some yes in the chat. Sounds good.
Oh no, I was gone for all this information. We're gonna
try your luck.
I'm just gonna try my luck. 9.
Axel, I can't see it either on my end. On a computer.
Oh, you can see it?
Mm-mm.
Let me see.
We all set. This is very much a choose your own adventure. There's so many good options in this poll. You want to choose all of them.
Yeah, I cannot change anything. I have 40 people on the pool so far. 35.
I can't see it on mobile, Alexis. Let me see if I can pull it back up so I can walk you through it.
Because I can only stop it from now on. So there's gonna be a cookie swag to win. So the hat, hoodie, and the stickers, and then we also have 2 tickets for the launch party in September. Can you tell us more about that launch party, JR, or it's secret still?
Well, it's pretty secret. It's downtown. It's gonna be very speakeasy still celebrating summer. Lots of and it's a collaboration between. It'll bring all of the cookies SKUs together, the things that are launching.
Downtown Toronto?
No.
Toronto, 4 till 11.
Sorry, I just got my butt bitten by some big ass bug.
And also the winner will be announced by email. So make sure to check your email after the session, because that's gonna be a really, really cool gift prize to have.
Yeah, it's also only 250 people, very exclusive.
Oh wow!
It very will small.
Yeah.
Is Berner's gonna come?
DJ's food. No, Berner's not. Berner is still gonna be on tour, unfortunately. But yeah.
Maybe London's gonna come.
Terpinolene and ossamine, a tribal fan, I agree with that statement. Found my love through ossamine through tribal, I think, honestly.
He was kind of shocked with some of the weeds down here, to be honest, too.
I was like, my face was fully cracked when I realized Toronto had such a large scene for cannabis. Like, Kind Fair was at least 600 people in such a tiny area. So being from Ottawa, I'm used to maybe 100, 200 most. And that's like coming in and out. It's not all at once.
That's awesome. All right. We have 53 people doing the poll, so almost the full room. I'm gonna leave you one more minute, and I'm gonna close the poll. In the meantime, is there anyone that wants to share anything else? Wants to share maybe how they enjoy the drink, or wants to ask some question to London or JR? Go for it. We still have a few minutes. I have a question
from the chat.
Yes.
Sorry. Somebody asked in the chat, is Pure Sun Farm still doing cookies? Which I'm not sure what they mean by that.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest. So, Noya was our partner in cookies before, and like I said, we're now utilizing our partner Final Bell, who's our same partner in California. So we know they have our quality standards in mind more than anyone else. And so, yeah, we're very intertwined now with that company. And so they're our main face in Canada now, and they have partners that they're utilizing that very much pass our QC standards.
I was going to ask whether these new lots roughly with the flowers would be like the new one?
Yeah, the question is from now on, all the new SKUs from Cookie will not come from Noya. Yes, it will always come from Final Ball.
Correct.
And the other partner they're curated.
Correct.
Thank you. It's good to know that I can flush it out.
Quick question for you, London. So you always have been working with Cookie?
I've been with cookies, legally for probably about 6 years now. So, it's been a journey. I actually, I started out as a budtender, actually, just growing on the side, being a passionate person. So I very much can identify where everyone is. And then I worked into cultivation with Berner and Jai, and I started doing the first actual the legal greenhouses that we were operating. I was managing those. And then, like I said, worked into production, sales, and now product management.
That's awesome. So you've seen so many cultivars through the years.
Oh my goodness, you guys. That's why we, even London Pound Cake, it's 75. I think we had about 150 to go through. So to identify the specific, cultivar that is, we know what it is.
I was gonna ask, when is that big sesh party down there? Don't you guys always have like a big one usually?
Oh man, I feel like there's one every dang weekend, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Emerald Cup's probably the biggest up here in Northern California. There's a lot down in LA. I know everyone likes to think that LA is just part of California and we can get right down there, but LA is literally an 8-hour drive for me. So it's quite far. So I do go down there very often. They have a lot of secret sessions and a lot of stuff down there. Christmas is always a big party for cookies too. We always do cookies concert, which is a big sesh. But yeah.
I'm gonna close this by asking you, what's your favorite all-time cookie cultivar?
Oh, come on. Dude, that's pretty.
London?
The one that has my name on it.
Sometimes people have name on it, but it's because they found it or something, but
Yeah, no, it's very rare to
even
find.
Cereal milk. Cereal milk is so dope. I want to get my hands on that.
Wait, do you have your London pound cake?
What is that?
Or is London pound cake made after you? Did I just catch that?
It's Berner always calls it inspired by London.
That is my favorite strain.
I was helping manage the greenhouses where all that was being created at the time, and I helped select the 75 out of the 150 for sure. It's very much Jai's creation. Jai's our founder. He is the breeder and magician behind it all. So shout out to Jai. Wouldn't be where I am without him or Berner. And but they, I was managing the greenhouse and helping bring those to life. Yes.
That's amazing. So I closed the pool, and I guess if no one has any last question, it's gonna be time for us to split. That was amazing. Chatting with you, London and JR. Like, congrats on that new launch on the drinks. I know it's gonna kill it. It's already killing it. I can see you sending out like crazy. I'm really excited to see how's the new SKU with the new parlors going. I'm gonna have a look on that for sure. I'm gonna have my eyes out. I'm looking forward to see the beverage in BC too, because I'm based in BC, so I like to see. No, won't come?
BCLDB just turned us down for no reason at all. So
Oh, yeah, I know, they are
Axel, I could
savage.
use a little help in BC, that's for
For
sure.
sure. We can connect on the side. I'll be happy to help for that. I have an extensive network on that side. I'll be happy.
I
for
know
sure.
I know your book club is infamous.
It is. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. That was amazing. We had like up to like 75 people at one time. So that was really, really good. Check an eye on your email because there is some really cool prize to win. The winner will be announced soon. And thank you, everyone.
Thank y'all. Thank you for the
Thank
support up
you.
there and holding down for us. The Budtenders are front line. Appreciate you.
Thank you all for
So good
attending.
to see everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Bye.
Thanks, Josh.